Hello.
Boske,
What's up, CK?
you gotta tell me, Boske, you picked up the BSA,
Yes, I did pick up the Goldstar 650.
the world's greatest single.
Yes.
Is it?
We'll find out.
Sure. Boske, you need to tell me why exactly you made the purchase, because you had a very good garage, right? You had the Himalayan and the Triumph Scrambler 400X. What made you disrupt your garage for this?
Yes, that's a good word you have chosen. Disrupt my garage. I picked up the Scrambler 400 first. I had the V-Strom 650 with me. Then the V-Strom went away and the Himalayan 450 replaced. Now, those two motorcycles are in the same genre, sort of in the same genre. With the Scrambler, I could commute. I don't do much of commuting. However, if I do choose to, whenever I want to, I can commute with the Scrambler 400X. And if I want to do some stupid things on some bad roads, some very small tight roads, I could use the Scrambler, which I couldn't do at that time with the V-Strom 650. Then the Himalayan 450 came in. So it's sort of in the same pie. There was a bit of an overlap. That was okay. I was fine because there was purposes were different. We were touring long distance, hundreds of kilometers every day, back-to-back days. You know,
Yes.
the 450 Himalayan is the motorcycle to go with. And then I saw this. I saw this. Yes, very tempted. Thought about it. I realized since there is a bit of an overlap in my garage, it is making my choice of picking the motorcycle for the ride difficult. I said, let me make it easy on myself. Have motorcycles that are quite different. And obviously the one that I had to let go is the Scrambler 400X. A beautiful single, that was 650, retro, old school, very different to the Himalayan 450. I thought it would be a great garage to have this, and I can commute with this. I would commute with this rather than on the Himalayan 450. So if at all I choose to commute and do some little bit of nonsense here and there, touring around, lazing around,
Yeah.
like you say, the lazy motorcyclist, this would be my choice. For everything else, even some dirt, the 450 is quite capable. So that is why CK, I went in for this.
It's a valid thing because whatever little that I've ridden of the motorcycle, the basic commuting part, it really excelled.
Yeah, it is quite easy to ride in the city, right? You didn't have to struggle.
Doesn't make its weight felt. So I found it very good.
Okay.
Another thing that I wanted to ask you is your ergonomics, the controls. How did you feel on the motorcycle, Boske?
Quite good. I am 5'9". I rode it on Sunday for 350 kilometers because I had taken delivery a month back. I got a call saying, sir, your vehicle is due for first service. I realized that I hadn't used it for 1 month. It had run some 12 kilometers. Oh, is it due for first service? Yeah, okay, I'll bring it for service next week. I'm not going to take it there with 15 kilometers on the Odo. So I sat on it, filled gas, off I went for a 350 kilometer ride. I liked it, CK. I really liked how this felt. Peg position, the seat, the handlebar. Somehow everything fell in place. There are some motorcycles where we feel the pegs are slightly little too back, a little too much weight on the front, somewhere the pegs are too forward. It's all okay, I will still ride and enjoy them, no doubt about it. This seems to have everything in place for me. Seat, I spoke about it on an Insta reel. No fatigue. Either my ass is made of wood or this seat is actually good. It's quite good. It's flat. It's nice. When I brake, I'm not being shoved onto the tank. When I accelerate, I'm not sliding back. It's a very neutral position. So I'm able to stay in the same place. The pedals, the gear lever, everything fell into place. Yeah, ergonomics, highway. Today I did a lot of commuting in the city. I rode around 40 kilometers in the city. I had some work running around the city. It can vary from person to person. To a large extent, I found this good, and I think most will find it good.
Yeah, I found it very neutral.
Yeah.
As I said, the commuting that I did, I found it very neutral. The foot pegs, the handlebar position fell in place. Nothing that I had to search for, look for, gear shifting and all that stuff. I didn't need to, move my foot a bit forward or backwards. It was bang on. Nothing that stood out for me as a sore point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found that good. The fit and finish part, Busky, what do you say of that? Look, I find a bit of gaping holes here and there, a bit of see-throughs. What's your take?
Yeah, I see what you see. There are some gaps, and the paint quality has room for significant improvement. The chrome quality has got room for significant improvement. The powder coating has got room for improvement. The fasteners, the engine cylinder head fins, everywhere there is room for improvement considering the availability of technology and tools today. This can be taken several notches higher. For example, like the Triumph series, the classics, the Bonnies, the 120s, the fit, finish, the attention given to every single fastener, phenomenal, one of the best when it comes to retro. However, I do not know if it is by accident or on purpose, this has got a fit and finish, including the welds, of what was reasonably possible in the 1970s. Are you getting my view? In the 1970s, this is what was possible without investing way too much and breaking the price barrier out of reach. So I view it that way. In 1970s, if this motorcycle was made in the 70s, this would be the level of quality of paint, chrome, welds, powder coating, buffing, whatever. I'm not defending anything here, not at all. It's just my perspective.
I get your drift, Busky. Yes, they could have improved, but I think they did it on intention.
I would like to think so also.
Yeah.
Intent to make the finish also a 1970s finish. 1970s finish does not mean it is a poor finish. This is good. However, today this can be better. There are other products in the market today which have got better finish than this. Definitely got better finish. It just goes with the theme. If we take the modern classics of the Triumph, they are classic designs, even including the 400X. It's a very classic design. The teardrop tank, the standard shape, it's all 70s, 80s. But it's very modern. It's got so many modern touches on it. The overall, the outline is very retro, everything else is modern about it. To an extent, Royal Enfield also is in that genre.
Yeah.
Yes, the outlines are very old designs. However, once you see the motorcycle, it's all very modern. This is different. Not only is the outline retro and classic, even the way it is put together, retro and classic. There are several things on this motorcycle. I will point out to you why it is done that way, which will kind of give more information of why I look at it that way. This is a retro. I will not call this a modern retro. Whatever is modern on this motorcycle is because there was no option but to modernize it.
Good one, that. Yeah. I had a different thought to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have a different view. I was more like, okay, was it being done to a cost? Was it being,
Definitely, it's been done to a cost also. Yeah.
So that possibly limited them to enhance the finish of it.
There are motorcycles already in the market that are established in this segment. So if BSA is going to land somewhere up here and say we have given this finish and that finish and it costs 50,000 rupees more, it would have been a tough task. However, like I said, whether it is by accident or by design, Everything about this is sort of harking back. I tell you an example. You take a look at the clocks. I'm not talking about how the clocks go. They go this way.
Yeah.
That is one. The digital aspect, there are two small digital windows there. One is the fuel gauge, one is the odometer. Odo, trip A, trip B. This is the only information. It is so small. I am perfectly okay because anything bigger would have ruined the classic look. It's very small,
Yes.
tiny. It's not easy to see. However, how often do I want to peer into a fuel gauge? It's not every few minutes I want to look at the fuel gauge, no. How often do I want to peer into the odometer? Not too often. Yes, it is not immediately graspable. As soon as we see it, it may take half, a quarter, or more than that to grasp what the information. But if I'm going to look at it once in several minutes, it's okay to have it so small. The main data is clear.
Yeah, I agree. Possibly you look at it once in an hour or once in 30 to 45 minutes.
15 minutes also is okay.
Yeah, you might have to get used to it. But once you get used to it, I don't think you will have to search where exactly is the odometer, how much fuel is left. I don't think you need to search for it.
Yeah.
And then you will have your memory kicking in as well, saying, yeah, this tank gives me around 250 or 300 odd kilometers, and you know when to actually look for the fuel, right? So you do an hour of riding, 2 hours of riding. So
Yeah.
you have a rough assumption
We
that
connect the dots.
exactly.
The time, generally, how many kilometers we have traveled, how much fuel we started with. All that is there in the back of the mind, and we put the dots together. And if I want a nice big digital dash, why did I buy this motorcycle? I don't want this motorcycle.
True.
I do not want this motorcycle. I'm not looking for that in this motorcycle. It's completely different. The trip is different. And it's got this old looking dial, and this is again all the warning lights. Low fuel, engine temperature, oil pressure, ABS, all that is in the little gauge here. That's what I said. It's put together with a lot of effort to make sure it is as close to the 70s as possible without compromising the mandatory safety stuff.
Good enough. I think we need to next look into the tires. I found it very interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are interesting. These are the Pirelli Phantom Sport. These are the same patterns that came initially on the Royal Enfield 650s. They were not great. They were not great. They're very ordinary tires. They were made in Pirelli Brazilian plant, made in Brazil. These on my motorcycle are made in China. Do I recall how the Brazilian Pirelli felt and how the Chinese Pirelli feels? I don't know. It's only 500 kilometers. Seems okay. Perhaps it is better than the Brazilian Pirelli. But I don't know how long these can come on this motorcycle because of the tire import restrictions. There is some limitation. Eventually, probably they will, not probably, they will switch
They must,
to
I guess.
Indian brands. Right now, these are Pirellis, tubeless type tires, but running with a tube. And these rims are the XL rims. I think they are the same that is on the 650 Interceptor, the aluminium Japanese XL rims.
I was to say that off late manufacturers are making a beeline for the XL rims.
Yes. Expertise in making rims, XL and DID. These are the two Japanese companies supply most of the aluminium rims supplied by them, and they have different grades. This is a street motorcycle, this thing, and all the Dakar motorcycles either have a DID or a XL A60. Those are the motocross rims. Yeah,
The
they all
high-end
make
ones.
a beeline for XL. Yes. Yeah, tires are okay, CK. Thus far, it's okay. Normally, after about 2,000-3,000, we come to know the true characteristic of the tire. So I think after that, I will share if the tires have significantly changed in how they behave.
The braking aspects. Okay, before we get into that, the engine and the gearbox. Much has been said about the world's greatest single 650cc. Yeah. So what's your take on that, Busky?
I love this engine.
I second that.
Yeah, I love this engine. What speeds do I ride at? I ride between 80 and 120. Generally, to a large extent, 80 if the road conditions don't permit me to go faster, and if they allow me to do what I want, to a large extent again, 120.
Let's put it that you're comfortable within that.
Yeah.
Whether you do it or not is secondary, but you're comfortable in that range.
80 to 120, I am comfortable. This motorcycle is tailor-made for my comfort. It runs its best between 60 to 115. I will not say 120. It runs its best. It's good. It's good above 115 also. At 120, the buzz starts on the pegs and the bars. Between 60 and 120, which is between 2200 RPM to 4800 RPM. Smooth. Makhan. There is no buzz. Okay, let me be very clear. Anything has to have a reference. If someone is coming from a 100cc or a 125cc or from a scooter, they will find some buzz here.
True.
Okay. Someone coming from slightly bigger capacity engines will not find the buzz. So that needs to be set. So if I don't want any buzz, I want a super smooth vehicle, I will go and buy an electric scooter. I will not bother with IC engines. I'm not being kind on the 650cc engine. I am being factual. No vibes, no buzz at that speed. 2800 to 3200 RPM, there is a slight buzz I can feel on the bar ends, and it goes away. The reason I can feel it is because it is not there. If it stays right through, I would still say there is no buzz. There is literally nothing from 2.2 to 2.8, then from 3.2 to 4.8. No buzz. It's a big engine, and it produces its torque in that particular range, which is the range I enjoy riding at. 5th gear from 2200 RPM, 60 kilometers per hour. Roll it open all the way to 120 so effortlessly, without struggling, shaking, no combustion clatter, no shudder. Yes, slam it open, any engine is going to shudder because you're dumping fuel and forcing it to accelerate at a pace that it's at its limit. Roll it open, there is no vibe. So that's the vibration some people are talking about. They say, no, this has got vibration. How can you say it is not there? I slammed it open. Slam it open, it is going to shudder a bit and accelerate. Roll it open, there is nothing. Gearbox, slick.
Yeah, low speeds, whatever I've done, the gears were like really smooth. Yeah. I was expecting some sort of resistance because I was not rev matching the gear shifts, but this one was not complaining at all.
Yeah, you were riding next to me for the first time. You were riding this, or probably the second time. The last time you took a very small ride. You rode it, and I could hear you how you were shifting, trying to understand where it is comfortable at.
Yeah, and it was very smooth, and that surprised me, Busky. I never expected that.
Gearbox is very clear. Shifts are very positive. It falls into gear very clearly. I didn't miss any gear at any time. I haven't caught any false neutrals or anything yet. It's a 5-speed. It is tall, spaced out because it's a 5-speed. If there was a 6-speed, things would have closed. The ratios would be much closer. Right now it is spaced out. The one thing is, between 1 and 2, there's a bit of a gap, the ratio gap. You notice that, I'm sure you noticed that.
Yes.
1 to 2, there's a gap. Then 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, it is close. That is necessary simply because it's a 5-speed gearbox. They had to get the 5th gear right out there at that RPM. So they had to sacrifice some of the... So 1 to 2. And that means in city, most of the time I'm in second or third, hardly got into 4th. However, it's at a gentle RPM, not that it is struggling. Something like the CB 350, that's all got a tall gearing.
Yes.
And in the city, most of the people say they ride in 3rd gear, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. They are unable to go into the 5th. It doesn't matter if I can't go into the fifth. It's not a deal breaker. It's got a good RPM range from 22 to 4,800, where in third I can roll on, roll off, roll on, roll off. So, yeah, the gap between 1 and 2, other than that.
I need to check it out. Possibly I'll whack your motorcycle for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, please, please do. Take it out. Commuting, yes, we can always do it. Anyway, we need 45 minutes to get out of Bangalore.
Yeah.
So that itself is commuting on any day. So you'll get a 45-minute experience of commuting, then probably 3-4 hours of highway riding. You must. We'll probably go out on Sunday. Good shift. Shifts are clear. Positive. Quite good.
Brakes.
Brembo. It says Brembo. It doesn't say Bybre. So for whatever reason, it's Brembo. It must be better than Bybre.
Perception.
Brakes are fine. I didn't do any panic braking anywhere. I'm riding gently. No, the feel on the lever, feel on the rear. Yeah, nothing to complain, nothing to rave about. I think it's
Does the job without any fuss.
yeah, that's the job. That's the job. Didn't have to put too much effort to slow it down. It's got a reasonably good feel.
I noticed that the brake gives me sufficient feedback. I'm happy with that. Nothing is like too hard to squeeze or stuff like that. Pretty relaxing.
Everything is gentle about this motorcycle.
Exactly. The clutch.
Nice, eh?
I loved it,
Yeah.
Paske.
It's very progressive.
Very, very progressive. Gives you feedback. I think this is one of the best clutch that I've ridden in recent days. A small movement, you get instant feedback. It's very light. And for city commuting, what I did right now, it was too good. I knew the density of the traffic, how much to pull in, how much to pull out. I didn't need to downshift. The clutch gave me so much of confidence in it.
You got used to it quickly.
So quickly, and that surprised me.
Yeah.
What's your...
Yeah, it's consistent. I've ridden it when it is cold, I've ridden it when it is hot. So the clutch seems to work the same way, and it's very easy to develop a muscle memory on this clutch. Very easy to develop. Despite the fact the gearing is tall, there's a space between 1 and 2. There was nowhere where I struggled and ended up in the wrong gear. It didn't happen to me. Not that I was paying too much attention to what I'm doing. It came quite easily. The clutch operation, the gear shifting, the release, the bite point. Then nowhere I went boop, like this, nor did I go clack, stall it. So yeah, the clutch has got a good feel. It's got a good feel. They've done a lot of work on this engine, CK. This originally was an engine designed by Rotax. They just designed it and kept it. It is not, I believe it is not made for somebody. Rotax makes engines, so they keep doing their research development. They made this big single and kept it. And it's been sitting in the design room waiting for somebody to come and access it and develop it and bring it out onto the road. This was originally developed for a Euro 3.
Okay.
So it's a very old, obviously big singles are old. Nobody makes big singles anymore. Not worth investing because of the stricter emission norms. I believe this is the Euro 3 is developed and ready, and then the regulations change, Euro 4, Euro 5, and now very soon probably Euro 6. So this engine was sitting there, just lying there, and fortunately, because we are all fortunate to have this engine, Classic Legends got in touch with them, got this engine, and I believe a lot of work and money was invested to get it to Euro 5 and BS 6 compliance. So that is a tough job.
Yeah.
That's when the current latest fueling injection systems, they were in touch with another Austrian company that has got expertise in developing engines, the electronics and the fueling part of it. So it was a combined effort of 3 firms that got a 650 single to comply with Euro 5 and BS 6. Believe me, that is no mean task, because if it is something easy, several manufacturers would have done it by now. And to do it without having vibrations, like we expect from a 650,
That was single.
and putting out 50 PHP.
Hats off, huh? Now that you're speaking on the engine, the packaging part, Baski,
Yeah.
I find it's pretty low.
They've done a good job on the packaging, CK. It's a tall engine. It's a dry sump.
Yes.
It's a dry sump. The oil tank, the engine holds 1.5 liters. There's an oil tank on this side. The LH is the oil tank. So 1.5 liters here and 1 liter here. I got the first service done. I'll share the details later. So lovely packaging. The exhaust is here. The pot. So it looks like there's a single pipe here, but actually there's a loop. There's a big muffler. I think that's a catalytic converter, and the primary collector is there. The coolant reservoir is here.
True.
Packaging is one of the best things they've done. Great job. I'm super impressed. I'm super happy. 500 kilometers on it, and this is one of the best choices I have made when it comes to motorcycles.
In recent days.
In recent days. Yes. What else? Heat.
I was to pop in that question. We've been speaking of vibes. We've been speaking of all that stuff. The heat.
Yeah, there is heat. It's a 650. It's a single. It's got a big radiator on the front. It's got a fan. It does throw heat. A lot of it wafts up the inner thigh. At very low speeds, it doesn't, because it kind of probably goes up this way. At a certain speed, it starts to flow, and some of it comes up here. I could feel it here on the inner thigh. If somebody is coming from much smaller motorcycles, this is a step we are making into a bigger CC. Get used to the heat. No riding with chaddi and chappal. It's not. Don't go to buy veggies in the market in the morning, or get a packet of milk from the near Dudwala or whatever it is. It will throw up some heat. So chappal and chaddi, not at all recommended. At least jeans, shoes. I've ridden it in this attire, and I've ridden with my riding gear. Of course, with the riding gear, it was far more comfortable. I could feel the heat a lot less. Yes, there is a lot of heat. One thing I didn't like about this is this area. I wish there was a heat shield here. I have burnt something here. Nobody else has sat on this motorcycle. So it must be something from me. It's either my boot, or sometime or the other I kept my foot here and touched the heel, or it is probably my riding pants on the inside that I have burnt.
Don't tell me it's your garnet that got burned.
It's probably the sole. That's okay. I don't think it's very minimal. I hope a heat shield shows up there. I mean, they come up with a heat shield. That is a bit of a
concern.
Tricky area. Yeah. One can burn their foot. You can see the discoloration already.
Yes.
The whole thing has changed brownish due to the heat. Yeah. And that too radiates a bit of heat. So if the pillion also is wearing a chappal,
Got saved?
sorry, you may not have that pillion again.
Stability. You've done your highway,
Yeah.
right? How's the straight line stability? How's the turn-ins? All that stuff, Baske.
Good. Suspension is good. Short travel. Made for this motorcycle, this profile. Although it looks that old type suspension, I think it's reasonable. It's the regular telescopic suspension. I did a top speed of around 130 for a short stretch, and at between 110 and 120 for quite some time on smooth winding roads. Of course, an odd ripple or two here or there. Handling is good. The front is stable. Nowhere it did any. I did hit a few odd patches unexpectedly. It didn't do any kind of a wobble or a shake, and to scare me. The front is quite stable. Yeah, the rear is a bit squishy, a bit.
Okay, I get it.
Not something that deters me and that I don't want to ride at that speed anymore. But now I know that the rear is a bit squishy and nice and dancey. It's okay. Not a showstopper.
So there's no chassis flex, but
Yeah, no flex. Yeah,
let's be clear on
it
that.
It didn't do this. It didn't do the weave.
yeah,
It's called the weave. That's called the weave.
yes,
Not the wobble is this.
Yeah.
When the front gets unsettled, it shakes. That other thing is, I would refer it to as the weave, where there's a flex, where the rear does this relative
yes,
to the front.
exactly.
I didn't feel any weave. Although I felt the rear a bit soft. But then if I make it harder, it could affect the ride. So I guess it is not just a question of soft or hard. Maybe it needs some
The
kind of,
limitations.
limitation of this, probably this shock absorber. However, like I said, 80 to 110,
Good enough.
lovely. Yeah, handling is good, stable. Front is stable, rear is stable, no weaving. It held its line.
बस कि you said कितना जाता है, कितना मिलेगा 1 लीटर में.
Fuel economy 29 kilometers per liter highway. That is in the first 350 kilometers. I mean, it's supposed to be running in time,
Yeah.
where all clearances are a bit tight and there's a more resistance and a lot of more heat generated. I think after 1,000 or 1,200 kilometers, it can go up by 1 or 2 kilometers. So I would say on the highway, this is capable of giving at speeds between 80 and 110 predominantly. This should be able to give at least 30, 31 kilometers per liter.
Oh, pretty good.
That's pretty decent. City, I don't know. I am bothered to check, but I would say, yeah, maybe 24, 25, it should be possible.
Yeah.
30, 31 on the highway, 24, 25 in city.
It's got a 12-liter tank.
Yeah.
Or a 13-liter.
It's 12, I think it's a
12?
Yeah.
Okay. It gives you an effective radius of 250 kilometers before
Yeah,
you
it's
stop
okay.
for filling.
It's okay. It's all right. Once in 200 kilometers to stop and fill gas, it's okay. Make the tank bigger, then you ruin the looks of the motorcycle, because there's a lot of proportion in this motorcycle.
Yeah.
A lot of proportion. I would not want 2 liters more and ruin the proportion. I would not want a fatter seat and ruin the proportion. I would change nothing on this motorcycle. I would change nothing. Right now, nothing. I would leave it as it is. Otherwise, you know me. I'll start to fiddle with things, start changing so many things. I'm not going to put any accessory. I'm not going to put anything onto this motorcycle. This is probably, at least, I mean, never say never. This is the only motorcycle that after using it for 500 kilometers, I have not thought of an accessory to fit.
Look what the Scrambler did to you.
Yeah. 101 things. My Himalayan 101 things.
You ran out of the brushes in both the motorcycles, Baskin.
Is this all you have? Give me some more.
Yeah.
I won't put a grab rail on this.
It doesn't need.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, coming to a drawback, we'll come to that.
We'll come to the boo-boos as
Okay.
usual.
Yeah.
Baskia?
Yeah.
Lights.
Yes.
Halogen lights.
Thank God for halogens. To all those people who want LED lights, I know now they've all learnt a lesson that halogen is better. This light is better than the LED light on the Himalayan 450, the LED light on the Scrambler 400X, the LED light on the Interceptor 650, the new ones. The halogens any day better. Yeah, you were commenting about the indicators some time back. Is it there or not there?
Oh, it's a boo-boo. I need to search. Where is it?
You know, that's the thing again I mentioned. They have made it so small, it doesn't stick out like an eyesore. It complies with the regulation. The 1970s and 80s, the indicators were not mandatory for two-wheelers. It came in the mid-80s, I think, the rule. That indicators have to be mandatory. So it didn't have. So they're stuck in. Again, I say, I don't know if this is by accident or by design.
It actually looks like an afterthought. It does.
It does its job. I like it. I would not like this motorcycle with big indicators. It just get away with it. And the best part about this motorcycle is the tail section. I love this low tail, low fender, the light. This is so retro.
Yes.
And the number plate hanging so low down and shaking.
Shaking.
There is something retro about that CK. The end of the mudguard and the number plate shaking like this.
I thought you were going to say shake it, Pushpavati.
Shake it, Pushpavati. I'm sure BSA didn't design this on purpose, but like I said, whether by accident or not, or by design, there are some things on this motorcycle that have been nailed, like the lights and even the yellow glow. It's not yellow, it's yellowish orange. Like
Amber.
The old, yes.
More amberish.
Like the old bulbs, no, which used to have amber. They have put in a lot of effort, CK. They have put in a lot of effort. I am really appreciative of the effort they have put in. However, there is a question which I've been asked frequently about the brand, their service and support has left a lot wanting. There are a lot of complaints in the market today. I am told they are being addressed, and I have seen some evidence of some things happening. It has to be done, heading in the right direction. And over the next few months, with products like this and the other Java, the new Java 42FJ, the new SD Adventure, they are headed in the right direction. It may take a little time. I hope they do resolve. Take care, because products are there. Just need to set the process in place to address the grouses of existing owners and to take care of the new customers.
A simple challenge, Musky. Buy a pair of brake pads and prove me better.
You heard that. It's about time. Parts are available at the counter. If I want a pair of brake pads, I cannot get it.
Even now?
Yeah. Unless the policy changed yesterday. So that is something that BSA or Classic Legend should address. It is my right to have access to parts.
Yeah, basic cycling parts. If they want their motorcyclists to ride the bike, go longer durations, these things needs to be addressed.
Yes, must be. If I cannot get a brake pad, if I cannot get a clutch cable, which I want to fix it myself, that's completely unacceptable. I will not accept that. Let me see.
So the test is there.
Hey, I may get it simply because of where I am and what I am doing today. But if a regular owner who owns a motorcycle walks up to the showroom and says, I want a brake pad, and if he or she is told, bring the motorcycle, will fit it for you, that's a no, no, no. Because that has got a lot of implications on the market, on the psyche, on the belief, on the faith, on the resale value, on the prospects, on the positive enthusiasm. Let's go buy a Classic Legends product.
Yeah.
So we will address this in a podcast hopefully sometime soon, and hopefully before that we will be able to get parts for this off the shelf so that we can work and fix these motorcycles. Yeah, I would put that under the boo-boo, CK.
Yeah.
I would put this non-availability of parts over the counter as the biggest boo-boo of this motorcycle.
Yeah, I think now we have to start with the boo-boos, man.
Boo-boos?
Yeah.
Okay. Boo-boo is the lack of a center stand and the lack of a provision itself. So there is no, there is no installing a center stand on this. It's got tube type tires, and that is not a great thing. That is one boo-boo. I'm looking for Outtex kit to convert it to tubeless. Once I do that, I'll keep you updated. Second boo-boo is this. We spoke about this.
Yeah.
This place needs a heat shield. That's a boo-boo. It's okay if I burn my shoe or my pant. If I want to burn my leg, that's not.
I mean, be out of motorcycling.
Yeah,
Never.
that cannot happen. So that's another boo-boo. Third boo-boo. This is because I have a garage and I try to do some work on it by doing some. A normal paddock stand cannot be used on this.
Seriously?
Yeah, a paddock stand which is there in my garage where we pick up the KTMs.
Yeah.
Every motorcycle we have picked up KTMs, the Triumphs, Himalayans, Bullets.
Yes.
Whatever. Cannot pick this up.
Then how are you going to tighten your chain, man?
Yeah, I had a look at the paddock stand they use in the service center when it went for the first service. It's got a weird attachment on the right side. It's a problem is on this side because of where the exhaust is and where the swing arm is. That's a big pain. I hope Classic Legends will make that paddock stand available for a buyer like me as an accessory. So if I want to do some maintenance, I need the paddock stand. And it's got a special attachment on the right side. Left side is a pretty standard one.
Yeah.
Goes under the swing arm. Right side is chopped off. It's got an extension and a U cup and things like that. So that's another boo-boo.
That's
Another
the biggest boo-boo for me.
That's a massive boo-boo. That's a
Yeah.
massive boo-boo. That's why I want to switch to Outex as soon as possible.
I mean, like, see, Busky, see, forget the puncture thing. If you want to do a simple tightening the chain,
No, I cannot do anything about it. I have to do some weird, dangerous, risky shit
Yeah.
to get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
move on.
And the tank cap. While I like all these retro, this is a bit too retro because I have put fuel 4 times till now. I still haven't figured out how to put it back.
It goes a bit cross. It doesn't going straight, Busky.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I tried it out the first time when I saw it because I was quite fascinated with it. It doesn't go in straight. You need to be a bit cross.
I was struggling with it. At the gas station, the attendant was looking at me like, why don't you just fit it and get out of the way? There's people waiting behind you. And I was going, Then I went duck walking out to one corner. I was struggling with it. I still haven't figured out. I need to figure it out. This is a bit of a boo-boo. I think once I figure out, it'll be okay. But it shouldn't be so difficult to put a tank cap back.
I don't know. These days, they're making it a bit complicated. I like the old style where you just flip and
With the hinge?
Yeah, with the hinge.
Yeah.
It's much more easier. I don't know why. Too much of retro.
Only one area over retro. So that's a boo-boo. That's about it. Yeah, these are the things that I don't like so much. Other than that, everything else is fine and dandy. CK.
I envy you on the motorcycle.
Oh yeah, I love this. It's given me a different mindset. When I ride this motorcycle, I ride it differently. I need, on some days I will take out the Himalayan because of how I feel, where I want to go. This is different, like this morning. It sounds beautiful. It sounds funny when I'm sitting on the motorcycle because there's a lot of intake noise. There's a bit of a
Yeah, I noticed it.
Someone is pounding on some ugly bongos. Somebody on the road hearing it, we don't hear that intake noise much, hear the exhaust note. So nice, flat, raspy note. I rev it up. This is a heavy engine, though it's a 650 single 100 mm piston.
100 mm?
It revs. This is fast. How
100 mm
fast?
piston?
Yeah.
Very
More.
good ashtray. Okay.
Okay, so that's about it for this motorcycle. Any other questions?
No, Busky.
Okay. Then the elephant in the room question. How does it compare against the Interceptor?
Interceptor.
That's the closest motorcycle.
The charm of riding a twin versus the single. We do it this Sunday.
That's in the plans. We are getting a Interceptor, riding it alongside this, and we will let you know how they compare, what are the differences, what each of us likes and dislikes of each of the motorcycle. Looking forward to that.
Me too.
Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Interceptor 650 against the Goldstar 650 coming up soon.